This is Summit 6, Round 1, Group 8. Our topic was, how does the way we think about competence need to change in light of societal and professional expectations?
Our shift plan on this side is from, and on this side is to. And this is talking about the way the system currently is, and on the right is the way we think that it either ought to be or is likely to be. To run through them one by one, the current approach to competence is largely focused on seat time and credit hours. We think that this should change so that it focuses more on actual practice and learning in practice. The current system is fractionated, multi-layered, very complex, and frequently viewed by physicians as being somewhat time-consuming and punitive. And we need to make it a lot easier by unifying the process for documenting competence. At the moment, we tend to rely on very almost heroic efforts for physicians to know everything, remember it all, stay current from a knowledge perspective. And what I think we're moving towards is a more continuous process of learning and becoming a master of other tools that take the burden to some extent from memory. These include information management, just-in-time learning. I don't have to remember this, but I'll get it when I need it. In the current system, the individual physician tends to think of themselves and act as a five-star general, and in the new system, they're going to continue to show important leadership, but they're going to be part of a much more complex interprofessional, intra-professional team that delivers care in a coordinated fashion. In the current situation, we frequently wear two hats. One is a learning hat when we're learning or taking tests, and another one is when we're out doing practice, and those are separate functions. In the system we're talking about, learning is now embedded in the daily work, and it's not even clear necessarily when learning is actually taking place. In the current situation, we have tendency to rely on anecdote and case reports. I remember this particular patient that I treated this way, and in the new system we need to be much more cognizant of systematic data about my practice and compare that to benchmarks from other physicians with like practice and also national benchmarks. Currently, the skills for managing individual patients are what tend to be prized, and in the new system we need to continue to do that, but we need to become more aware of how the individual fits into the community and how care of individuals tends to contribute to population health. In the current system, competence is a threshold minimum standard that I tend to have to demonstrate once or at most a few times in my career. In the new system, this is going to be a process of ongoing improvement and/or learning. In the current system, we're talking about a judgmental punitive process that frequently physicians find extremely unpleasant and that only tends to pick up extreme outliers. In the new system, we want a developmental process to look at areas for improvement. Here we look at focus on knowledge and technical skills primarily, and in the newer system we're talking about focus on a much broader area of competencies beyond just knowledge. We're thinking about competence in the current system as the responsibility of the individual, and we probably need to move towards more collective responsibility for physicians as part of professional self-regulation. The system makes me prove it in the current system versus if you give me the practice data, I'll prove it to you all. The current system driven by regulations, and the new system we think should be driven by feedback from patients, colleagues, and from different practice venues. And finally, the competence state is basically private unless there are extreme outliers. In other words, the physician gets control of their data. The new system, there will be more public sharing of competency data.